Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Tom.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
It's our TOEIC unit for the month of September.
Yippee!
And someday, of course, you might be working for a company. Some of you might be a manager, and you'll have people working under you. So it's important to learn the art of employee appreciation. Don't just take all their effort for granted. You've got to be nice to them once in a while and say, hey, you did a great job. We're glad you work here.
It's nice to have a boss like that. I think a lot of us have had bad bosses, though, who never appreciate what we do or whether we go the extra mile. I was lucky. I had a pretty good boss in New York, and there were several times I would have to stay at work until, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., and we'd be working on something. He started doing this thing that I thought was so nice. He started sending me these gift certificates for, a bookstore. I don't even think Amazon was around at that point, but, to go buy something for myself, and I could come to work a little later, not too late because I was a manager. But I thought that was awfully nice. He didn't have to. It's nice to feel appreciated, even if you don't get something like a gift from the boss like I did. And he'd give me gift certificates were $100 US. It's kind of nice. But just to hear a thank you is nice, right?
Yeah, sounds like you were lucky there. I've had bosses who basically organize meetings that would last 2 or 3 hours, and then they'd say, don't any of you ever think that you're irreplaceable, okay? There are lots of people outside waiting to come into this company, so yeah, if you think that I'm not ever going to fire you, think again. That's the kind of appreciation that we received when we were working. I'm not going to mention names here.
No names.
But in any case, that's probably not the best way to keep your employees on hand. If you get new people, you've got to train them and stuff. That takes time. It costs money and things like that. So, yeah, it's probably best that you try to keep your employees happy and learn to express appreciation. You need to learn the art of employee appreciation. So let's find out what this is all about. Let's read through the entire contents of our lesson right now. Cleo is leading a management workshop titled Giving Your Office a Gratitude Attitude Makeover.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to start today by thanking you for attending this workshop. It's such a pleasure to see so many of you invested in your employees' well-being. Now, let's get started, shall we? To begin with, I'd like you all to think back to a time before you became managers. Would one of you like to outline a personal experience of a time you felt appreciated by a superior? Yes, Neil?
I once had a supervisor take me aside and thank me personally for a job well done. I'd worked really hard on the company's quarterly sales reports, and hearing that my efforts were appreciated felt really great.
That's an excellent example, Neil. I think this is a perfect time to turn to page 8 in your workbooks. There, you'll find a list of methods for showing appreciation. And number 2 on that list is saying thanks in person, just as Neil's former supervisor did. There are some great ideas on this list. I'm new to management, and I'm worried about not seeming grateful for my employees' hard work. That's normal, Amanda. Over time, you'll become more comfortable in your role. Showing appreciation will start to come naturally. I have an idea. Why don't you tell me about a situation where you should have given praise but didn't? Well, there was this one time.
Okay, everybody, it's time for us to discuss the contents of our lesson for today, so let's get to it. Are you ready? Let's take a look at the title first here. It says, Learning the Art of Employee Appreciation. Of course, there are lots of ways to do lots of things, and sometimes we just use the phrase, the art of something like that. Of course, you know, what was it Trump's book called? The Art of the Deal. In this particular case, it would be the art of employee appreciation. How to appreciate appreciate your employees better so that they're happy and that they continue to work for the company and you continue to make a ton of money. So here, of course, we've got the word appreciation. That's a noun. That's just all about the process of recognizing and knowing that people have done a good job and that you need to express to them that you like what they do and that you're grateful for that. So that's appreciation. And the verb would be to appreciate. Hey, you gave me a gift. I appreciate it.
Ooh, nice. So we've got some people here. Looks like they're in a big meeting. We're calling it a workshop. Usually if a company has some sort of, new plan to teach their employees, they'll often either bring employees together in a conference room within their company, or sometimes they'll go and rent some space and have a workshop somewhere else. So they're all, I think, working for the same company, and it's a management workshop where the topic is going to be giving your office a gratitude attitude makeover. It's kind of a fun title. Let's look at this. Management is when you've got someone who is managing a company or organization. They're usually in control of it. They also are a supervisor for people below them. So a manager not only has to do their work, they have to make sure people that report to them are doing their work as well. I've been a manager. I prefer not to manage. Unless you have really good people, it's tough because not everybody wants to work very hard. But it's a management workshop. If you have that type of position, you're called a manager. And if you work for a company as a manager, you're in management. Oh, he's in management. Oh, he's part of management. I'm in management. I'm part of management. In a workshop, they could be a half a day, a full day. It's kind of like a conference, big meeting where everybody sits in a room. And typically in a workshop, you actually participate. So you might have some activities where you get together with other people in the workshop and go through some of these activities to learn. It's usually not just a lecture, but it depends.
Right. So I guess if the company's big enough, they might be able to afford a workshop from time to time to get their managers together.
We call that off-site, if it's not within their company building.
Right.
Yeah.
Or it could be done on-site in the
Good.
company. We're going to have a workshop today. You should all attend and stuff like that. Don't worry, you'll get paid for it, etc., etc. So Cleo, of course, is leading this workshop. And the title of the workshop is Giving Your Office a Gratitude Attitude Makeover. Isn't that cute?
It is.
Gratitude and attitude, of course, rhyme. So that's a catchy phrase there to get people interested in going. And gratitude is very similar to appreciation, just telling somebody that you are happy that they did something for you.
I'm sure some of our listeners recognize the name Oprah Winfrey. She often would talk about having an attitude of gratitude, a gratitude journal or diary that you'd write in to make your life better. If you appreciate what you have, supposedly you're happier that way. They've just taken those two words and put them together, which is fine. So giving your office a gratitude attitude. But you could also say giving your office an attitude of gratitude. This is a makeover. A makeover is usually when you take a guy or a girl and you redo their hair, give them a good haircut. Maybe they're not very stylish. You buy them some new clothes. You make them look a lot cooler than they are. That's a makeover. Have you had one, Tom?
I probably should get one. But yes, a makeover, of course, is when, a hairdresser or a makeup expert kind of takes you somewhere.
A fashion stylist.
Yeah, they change your hairstyle and your clothing, and they present you to an audience, and they go, wow, is that the same person? Wow, we can't believe it. Quite a transformation.
Yeah.
So, yes, it's a makeover. They're trying to improve the management in the company, especially in terms of appreciation. So, Cleo begins. She says, good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to start today by thanking you for attending this workshop. Well, she's expressing gratitude already. She's thankful that everybody has decided to attend this workshop. They're taking time out of their busy schedules to come to this workshop. So, yes, she better set an example example to be appreciative at the very beginning, or else everybody's going to leave.
Yeah, I noticed that. She immediately thanks them for coming. I'm sure everybody hates meetings like this because you've got a lot of work waiting for you. It might be tons of emails you have to respond to. There might be a project that you're working on. And when we have these workshops, we have to stop the real work and go for training of some type. I wanted to mention the opposite of being grateful or expressing gratitude would be to take somebody or something for granted. So you don't want to do that and just expect someone does these nice things for you and never really acknowledge it or say thank you. Don't take people for granted, or don't take people's nice actions for granted. Always be sure to thank people. So she does. Cleo's smart. She's probably one of the top managers in the company. She might be with HR, human resources. They're usually the ones that actually conduct these sorts of workshops. So she says it's a pleasure to see so many of you invested in your employees' well-being. Your well-being is just how well you're doing. Doesn't necessarily just have to do with money. It's not only financial. It's just feeling good about life, you know? You want your employees to be happy. If you invest in your employees, it means you care about that. So by investing, again, it doesn't have to be money. It could be time. We invest time in things we care about. We devote time to different hobbies we love. We're investing in that hobby. Well, she is really happy to see that these managers who showed up care enough about their employees to invest some of their time in learning how to be more grateful.
Yep, they're invested in the well-being of their employees, how well they're going in their lives, how happy they are and stuff like that. Now, let's get started. So she's expressed her thanks, and now we're going to start with the seminar here. Actually, it's a makeover or a workshop, actually, to be more precise. And she says, let's begin, shall we? To begin with, I'd like you all to think back in time, or think back to a time in the past before you became managers. So everyone who's attending this workshop is a manager, but they need to go back in time. Remember that time when you weren't a manager and you were working under somebody else. Would one of you like to outline a personal experience of a time you felt appreciated by a superior? So here we've got outline, which means kind of give a general description of something without going into too much detail.
Yeah, she could also say sort of, can you give us a quick summary, sketch something out. You're not going to fill everything in if you use an outline, right? It doesn't have all the details, but kind of gives you a general impression or lets you know kind of what happened, generally speaking. So she asks Neil. So she's asking for a personal experience of a time when they felt appreciated by their own supervisor. Your supervisor is the person that you actually report to, someone who gives you work. You can be a manager and still be called someone's supervisor. I tended to use supervisor more in sort of factory jobs, though. And if I was in a white-collar office sort of job, I would call that person my manager. But someone who is your superior is someone who has authority or power over you to tell you what to do. So Neil does have an example he wants to share. He said he had a supervisor take him aside. If you take someone aside, guys, kind of pull him over for a private conversation. I think it's even better sometimes to acknowledge somebody in front of the whole group or in front of their coworkers so that their coworkers know that you think they did a good job too. But sometimes, they'll just take you aside and tell you privately, wow, you did a great job. But I do think public acknowledgement's really important too.
Probably, especially if the supervisor or the superior calls you into their office to thank you personally, but other people will see that and think, oh,
dear.
He must be in trouble. He's been called into the office. So, yeah, maybe it would be better to do it publicly in front of everybody. So in any case, in this particular case, Neil was taken aside by the supervisor, and the supervisor said, hey, Neil, I really appreciate what you did. You did a great job. Keep Keep up the hard work. We appreciate it. And Neil gives some more details here. He says, I had really worked hard on the company's quarterly sales reports, and hearing that my efforts were appreciated felt really great. So he's talking about something that happened in the past, and then he's comparing something else that happened in the past. Remember, we've got him working hard on the sales reports and then being taken aside. So that's when we use past perfect here. I'd worked really hard on the company's quarterly sales reports. Okay, that's what he had been doing in the past before he was taken aside by his supervisor and thanked personally.
Yeah, and all businesses, guys, the year's divided up into 4 quarters. You'll often see a Q1, Q2, or sometimes they'll write it just the opposite. 1Q, 2Q, just means quarter, the first quarter, second quarter. So Cleo liked his example. She said it was excellent, so she thinks this is now the perfect time to turn to page 8 in their workbooks. When you go to a workshop, typically they hand you out some materials before they start. Could be, a binder full of different handouts that you can look through. She's got a list of methods or a list of ways for these managers to show appreciation to their own employees. And it looks like number 2 on that list is exactly what Neil shared, thanking someone in person. And that's what his former supervisor did. So good job, Neil's former supervisor.
Yeah, this is a pretty serious little seminar here, or a workshop here, because Cleo has prepared a workbook. And, of course, there are things listed in the workbook and methods for showing appreciation. And as you said, she specifically pointed out item number 2 on that list to say thank you to someone in person for a job well done. And just as Neil's former supervisor did, yes, indeed, that's what the former supervisor did for Neil, pointed out something in person. And so that's a good example.
Now we've got someone who's pretty new to managing people, and that's Amanda. She's a new manager that's kind of scary, and she's worried that maybe her employees don't get any gratitude from her. Maybe it looks to them as if she doesn't appreciate them. And Cleo kind of reassures her. She's brand new. It's hard when you first start as a manager. You don't know what you're doing for a while. Cleo says over time, you'll become more comfortable in your role. You'll know what to do. Showing appreciation will start to come naturally. Yeah, you don't want to force anything because that seems fake. You want your employees to really think, oh, she's being so sincere. The worst thing you can do is show gratitude but not really mean it. That's bad. So Cleo has an idea for young Amanda. She says, why don't you tell me about a situation where you should have given praise but didn't? And that's a good way to learn, too, to talk about ways that you didn't do well or ways that you failed, because you can learn from your failures, of course, just as you can learn from your successes. So Amanda finishes off this particular dialogue by starting to relay or relate an episode where she didn't do very well. But we cut that out, so we'll just have to imagine where she kind of didn't do such a good job as a manager.
But I'm sure that workshop did quite well, and they continued on. And right now, we'll be right back in just a second with some useful expressions, but we're going to hear from the Chinese teacher first.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenny. 今天我们要看的是第9单元。好，我们要来谈一谈这个主题。感恩的心，我们要知道，在一个公司企业经营，应该要想你的员工为你做了什么事，你应该心存感谢。所以呢，这个主题下，好，我们来看这一篇的对话内容，它主要就是在谈 appreciation。当然，提到公司里面，它有这样子的活动，就是想要改造大家在职场上的心态。这个研讨会是谈用感谢的态度改造职场。我们看这个改造这个字 makeover， 提到 makeover， 那这个对话里面就说了，好，首先呢，这个开场白他呢先感谢大家到这边来，他说It's such a pleasure to see so many of you invested in your employees' well-being. 我们知道这个 see 是一个感官动词，感官动词呢常常要注意到它的句型上面 see 后面加受词，受词后面接一个补语，而这个补语的位置上就常常要考虑到是现在分词呢还是过去分词。以这边来看，他说到了 so many of you， 这是受词，后面的 invested加了 ed， 我们就看得出来这是一个过去分词。那我们知道 invest 本来是投资，投资钱在谁的身上，后面加 in， 但是呢它有一个偏语，就是当你说一个人呢 is invested in something， be invested in， 这样子的用法就表示是投入于什么。好，换句话说，花时间在什么上面，这个地方也就是用了这个片语，然后 be 动词不见了，只保留过去分词的 invested。 好，提到这个补语的过去分词要特别注意。那接下来呢，他就提到说，好，我们看到这边这个句子里头，他就要他这边的听众们 outline a personal experience of a time you felt appreciated。 当然他希望这些参加这个讲座的人来想一想，描述一下有没有一个例子，就是你自己受到主管感谢的个人经验。接下来呢，好，就有一位同仁他就提到了他自己的经验。好，他说呢，他的确有因为他做了非常的努力，他的每季度的销售报表做得很好。我们来看一下这个 quarterly 呢，在公司经营里面，我们不是算每月的，它常常是一季一季来看它的结果。所以一季呢，当然就是3个月，所以一年有4季，所以一个 quarterly 就是每一季1/4，一年的1/4，那也就是一季。好，我们来看看下面呢，接下来呢Cleo 他就提到了，其实呢，我们这事实上是把你的作业这个 workbook 翻开来，里头就有提到，而刚刚 Neil 所提到的，也就是这个 workbook 里面所显示里面的第2点 number 2。 好，也就是你应该亲自的表达谢意，亲自的道谢， saying thanks in person just as Neil's former supervisor did. Just as 我们知道 as当然是正如同，这个如同啊，有时候呢是比较像介系词的用法，但是它也可以当连接词，像这个地方的 just as 就是一个连接词的 as， 后面接的句子就是就如同 Neil 他的之前的上司所做的一样。好，后面接子句可证明 as 是连接词。再来呢，接下来另外一个人发言了， Amanda 他就提到说，我刚刚升到管理阶级，所以很担心自己呢没有去感谢他自己的员工。所以呢 Cleo 就说了，其实这很正常，因为你要适应这个角色。然后呢，他也提到了有一个好主意，我的想法是 Why don't you tell me about a situation where you should have given praise but didn't。 我们看到这一句话里面，他说你提一个你之前的情境，这个 situation 后面接了一个 where。 好，我们也知道，当然你说在这个情境里本来是 in which， 我们用一个关系子句来修饰这个 situation， 在这个情境里是发生什么样的事。那如果不用 in which， 你要把 situation 当作是 where， 也就是在这个环境里，这个情况里 where you should have given， 这边也要注意，我们知道 should 后面如果你加完成式 have pp， 就表示之前过去的事情你该做，可是其实并没有做。好，今天讲解就到这边结束，我们下次见。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Okay, everybody, let's take a look at some of these useful expressions which we can use to express appreciation. So the first one here goes, your quarterly sales reports couldn't have been better. Thanks for doing such great work, Neil. So here, couldn't have been better. They're the best that you could have done.
Yeah, so it's the opposite. You could also separate it, could not have been better, and that's actually a little stronger. If someone says that your reports could have been better, you didn't do a very good job. So hopefully you get that. It's it's a pretty good compliment there. Thanks for doing such great work, Neil. Number 2, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to lead this workshop. I can't thank you enough. Wow. Just saying thank you is never going to be enough. This is a phrase we use when we're really grateful for something. Someone's really saved us. Could be a friend, family member, or a coworker, a boss. It's nice to hear that sort of thing. And then the end of this says, I'll definitely be recommending this workshop to friends. You definitely want to hear that if you're conducting a workshop or leading a workshop like Cleo was.
I am eternally grateful to you for leading this workshop. And number 3 here says, I'm grateful to Cleo for leading these classes. I'm confident that I can go back to the office and show my employees how much I appreciate them. So this particular manager attended the workshop and learned a lot. So he said, I'm grateful to Cleo. I'm eternally grateful to her. I will always remember this great sacrifice. It's something that I will hold dear to my heart for as long as I live.
Okay, the discussion question is, describe a situation in which you've been grateful for someone's help. How did you show your appreciation? I once had somebody, we go to church together. She helped me with a talk I had to give. She checked my Chinese. And so I bought some donuts at Krispy Kreme. She has kids. And I gave them to her as a thank you. She didn't expect anything from me, but I think, that sort of thing. You can be thoughtful and give them something they'd enjoy eating.
Well, one time I had Billy go back into the garage and change the oil on that 67 Chevy because I didn't know how to take off the oil cap there.
Yeah.
So he went back and did it. And because it was so difficult to remove that oil cap, oil sprayed all over his shirt. So in appreciation for his efforts, I offered to buy him a new shirt.
You should have,
Wasn't that nice? I even got him a 6-pack of beer for that.
Oh, dear.
Okay, but in any case, that brings us to the end of our discussion for today. But we'll continue to talk about this very same topic in our next program, so make sure you join us then. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
Bye.